Jehovah's Witness. This is Chrissy. I'm your host. Please don't mind my voice. I'm getting over laryngitis this week, and so you might have to turn your volumes up as much as possible to hear me. But anyway, this is the Arcana Shores Moderators Roundtable. So I'll just go around the horn. So I've got Carrie, aspiring alchemist. Hi. And of course, Jay Rocco. Hi. And of course, Dennis, our King of Cups. Hi. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So there's so much going on. It's like crazy. Obviously, the Queen, London Bridge has fallen. So what does that all mean? I mean, there's so much stuff going on. I just wanted to do a little bit of a list. I was going to tell everybody that I found. So this is what the next 24 to 48 hours is going to be since the Queen has been I'm going to say this, been announced that she's I'm going to be active here. All right, so this is what I got. So in the next 24 hours after the Queen's death is announced, there will be gun salutes across London, one round for every year of Elizabeth's life. So that's 96. And a broadcast by the new king will be played out. A service will be held at St. Paul's Cathedral in the coming days, which won't be attended by the royal family. It's a moment for the public to remember their queen. Give me a break. Just saying. Expect local services to pop up across the country. The Queen was the supreme governor of the Church of England. Over the coming days, the bells of Westminster Abbey, St. Paul's, and Windsor Castle will toll. And then of course there's the funeral and all of that. But the scary thing that I read here, which I was like, well, wait a minute. So hopefully, so as we know, okay, so because the Queen died, and that means that Prince Charles is now the king, King Charles III, right? So this is what I thought was interesting, because he is here now the head of state of not just in the UK, but 14 other Commonwealth realms, including Australia and Canada, which I knew Canada, but I didn't realize Australia. So now what do you guys think about that? Because what do you think is going to happen next? Let's ask this as far as bringing Mr. T back and starting of all this. So do you want to start? What are your thoughts, Carrie?
I know it's going to be like dominoes falling from now on. And some of the things I've heard are like the first thing that they will address is the is this going on YouTube?
Yeah, but it'll go on both my Rumble and my YouTube, but it's okay. Just say the 2020 thing.
The 2020 thing. Yeah, I apologize.
That's okay, no worries.
Yeah, so the first thing they'll address is that, and Mr. B will be dealt with, and then I think they're going to expose the
jabs.
And then bring down the financial system and bring up the gold backed.
I can't wait for that. Dennis, what are your thoughts on all that?
Something tells me that I was saying that during this
there's flashes. I see flashes. Do you guys see flashes?
Oh yeah, he's got all kind of lights around him.
I know. Okay,
that's just me. I'm just going haywire, you know.
Mr. Flash dance over there. Okay.
Yeah, just call me Flash.
Yeah.
I was saying that this disclosure that's coming, that I have a feeling that King Charles is going to be outed out. There's going to be something that is going to be revealed with him, and he's probably going to have to step down, which means that Prince William will take the throne.
And then what happens at that point? Because, I mean, I thought
your guess is as good as mine.
Because I thought, this is what I thought. I thought once all of them are outed as their criminal criminal enterprises, wouldn't that just collapse the royals completely? I would think.
Well, I don't know if it would collapse the world, but it will collapse all of the royals, the British colonies will.
Yeah.
They'll cede away from the British royalty.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking. What do you think, Jay?
I agree with them both. Yeah. One of the things from what we've kind of seen, and we recently discussed, when this happens, I definitely agree that Charles's time is limited. I also agree that the current U.S. Resident, I really think that's going down shortly. And I don't know if it's not breathing anymore or if it is just taking out. But the colonies, I agree with that. I see the monetary system slipping because I believe the Queen was the protector of the Roth's kids institution of money.
Munchkins.
Yes.
Little munchkins.
Little munchkins. And so me and Dennis have discussed, and it was really him that said that it probably will go kind of in a domino, but not super fast. Right. Dennis can expand on that a little further because I just agreed with him, but I saw the banking not doing well at all. And I had mentioned that that banking is in well over 80% of the countries. They are the ones that are in control of that, including the FED reserve, throwing that pause in there, dramatic pause. But yeah, it really is. It's this. It's just a matter of this.
Okay, well, I wanted to read this to you. Somebody sent this to me in my email this morning. Hold on, let me grab it here.
See?
Okay, so what I got here is it says here, the Vatican announcement of all central banking system assets across the globe in nearly every country must be returned to the Vatican Bank. This includes all paper coin money, including gold, silver, precious metals, and minerals, all deeds and collection of debts connected to the World Bank's housing markets, loans, marketed services, and debts must be returned to the Vatican between September 1st through September 30th. And then it says here, let's see. Yeah, and then they were getting ready to announce, so that was, okay, let me see, there's some more here. And then it also said that with the Queen, now that the death of the Queen, it ensures the collapse of the world cabal deep state regiment with 14 countries controlled by the Queen, including Australia, New Zealand, Canada. These countries are headed into a republic state who long wanted freedom from British control and the Queen. And then it also says here, all the holdings of the British Empire and Company in 14 countries around the world will stop the slush fund connected to the world money laundering operations through the UK, Canada, Austria, Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and the Vatican. But I didn't see the US on there, which I thought was interesting. And then it also says here, now with the Vatican in fear of losing its assets and control through the world, they have asked the State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock to return assets back to the Vatican Bank as the world collapse continues. Behind the scenes in the Vatican top cardinal officials loyal to the Jesuit leaders and the Knights of Malta have been in lockdown, imprisoned within the Vatican walls, and cannot leave the estate. Military operations have silently seized the chain of command in the Vatican Empire. These chain of command from the military order of the Knights of Malta control and had installed with money ceasing and quickly disappearing through EU countries, NATO, UN are inside a battle to gather money, and the infighting is out of control as Germany hides their last crates of gold, Switzerland hides gold, Vatican asks for all assets be returned. And then it says here the next stages of desperate attempt by the attention away from the collapse is to create a nuclear event or a world 9/11 scenario event. So what do you guys think about that? Because I mean, we have been warned for a while that there's going to be some more false. This isn't even. I'm going to get so screwed on YouTube.
But those flappy things?
Yeah, those flappy things, as Janine says, the flappy things. So what are your thoughts on? Well, I guess what I'm concerned about is I thought that if they've seized everything from the Vatican, right? According to the executive orders that President Trump put in place, right? Well, anybody that was caught doing crimes against humanity and all this other stuff, why is everything going back to the Vatican? Do you guys, anybody know about that? Because I'm confused. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll go. Whoever wants to go.
Okay, go ahead.
The way I've seen it, there actually previously, you can kind of look this up. It takes a little bit, but I found an article. I believe it was in 1938, 39. The Vatican did something similar before World War II as far as bringing back their assets. In addition, from what we've been told, as far as things were taken from the Vatican under Mr. T.
Right.
I believe a majority of that, what the real treasure of that was actually documents.
Okay.
I believe some physical metals, but I believe what was worth more than anything was the documents. I mean, that's just kind of my impression, my intuition on that. I think that's the real treasure. And but don't forget, before, well, probably up and through 1970s, the Vatican was the currency exchanger. Currency exchanger. Right now, it's arguable that if you look at their front companies, if you will, they still probably do a good 60+% of currency exchanges. Again, but see, they're not asking for the exchange. They're asking for assets.
Right.
And it's actual liquid type, whatever they deem liquid.
Yeah.
So that's my initial.
Well, I think
take.
all of that should go back to the people, right? All that stuff should go back to the people. I mean,
Go ahead, Dennis or Carrie. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dennis. What were you going to say?
I was thinking ledgers. It just popped up into my head. They're not only asking for currency, what you don't know is ledgers. So they're trying to
Nice reason.
the two currencies that they have against the ledgers that they've got.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, because I'm sure there's secret ledgers.
Documentation, books, everything. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Ledgers. That's fascinating because what I kind of perceived, it wasn't just documents,
Currency,
old history, everything, but yeah, that would include financial disclosures. What's the old saying? Follow the money.
Yeah, follow the money.
Well done. I just didn't articulate
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
like Dennis did. He's spot on, if you ask me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Carrie.
what do you think, Carrie?
I have no idea. Sounds like a bunch of BS.
I mean,
They're just trying to mislead the
Carrie?
people. I don't know.
that's what I'm thinking.
Carrie's
I know.
saying, just show me the money.
Mm-hmm.
Show me
Show
the
me the
money.
money.
Show me
I
the
know.
silver.
Yeah, show me the silver.
There you
I
go.
know. I hope that the silver. Well, I don't know. Do you guys ever watch Bo Pony?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Love him.
I mean, I love the way that he has his whole timing. We're supposedly coming into this Jubilee, and it actually the 24th, the 25th will be like the ending of the 50-year Jubilee, but then the first year basically is when. So, but I'm thinking we're not going to see any like changes with the RV and all that until President Trump comes back. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts on the RV and that?
Pick somebody.
Yeah, Trump is going to need to come in first. Yeah.
Well,
They're
I
not
keep
going to do
getting-
it unless Trump's out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be like crazy to see about that. Another thing I was going to bring up
Yeah.
was, go ahead.
They don't want to. They don't want to bring it out while Brandon is still in office.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how in the heck they're going to do this. I mean, everybody says it's going to be like one day. It's just going to take like one day to get all this done. Like where everything can flip. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is sort of like the beginning of the end of the movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just waiting for this to happen. Do you think that the 10 Days of Darkness is gonna? Do you think that starts today into the mourning period? Because isn't there a 10-day mourning period as far as after the Queen announcement of the Queen's death? So do you think there's going to be like a 10 Days of Darkness? And
Well,
what do you
could
guys?
the 10 days be metaphorical? I mean, it's no coincidence there's a 10 days of mourning.
Right.
So is that darkness? Mourning would be black, traditional mourning color.
Right.
I kind of follow Carrie's lead with this. A lot of this to me is complete static. I mean, I'm going to
Yeah.
believe what I believe when it happens. I
When it
do think there are certain things that I will definitely comment on.
Yeah.
But until it's done, I just don't think anyone's going to really know what exactly is happening. And we can speculate for sure.
Right.
And we do have different ideas on that.
Mhm.
I'm kind of not, I don't like the movie. I don't like watching the movie. Once it's done, it's done.
Mhm.
But I do think that 10 Days of Darkness, could that be similar to what we're looking at? I mean, you have to look at the number. You have to look at this 10 Days of Mourning as
Mhm.
coincidence. Again,
Yeah. Nothing is coincidence in my
I agree.
opinion.
But is that what it is? Is it metaphorical, 10 Days of Darkness? Or is it 10 days of blackout, communications, no internet? They attacked the food processing system. Why not start attacking the communication systems? Oops! It's only the fifth airplane that flew into a tower.
Right.
It just happened like it's nothing.
You know what's interesting? I think it was this morning. I got a notice that the national emergency here, that Governor Inslee, who is just a tyrant, he's dropping the national emergency as of October 31st. So I thought, well, that's interesting. Is that a marker of some sort? I mean, I don't know what's going on in your guys' state. I mean, Dennis and I are in the same state, and you're in Vancouver, right? Carrie?
Yeah. So all three of us are in
So
Washington.
I thought that was really interesting. I'm
in Pennsylvania, and I don't pay attention.
You don't have it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think Inslee is really Inslee. I think that's a double.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
you know
he's
what?
played the white hat.
Yeah, a while ago, on one of the lives I had KRISTEN, I asked KRISTEN if Jay Inslee had been rounded up. And she said, yeah, and what's interesting here in Washington State, they've been, so I finally dropped it all because I got so aggravated with the whole situation. But as I understand it, the representatives, they've been doing legalese in order to get around having to have Inslee sign on anything. So
That's
to
interesting.
push, so when the new, so in January, when the new people take their seats, hopefully it's flipped. We'll see. But they've got like something like 6 or 7 different initiatives and bills they're going to bring down. They figured a way to do it if so that he can't veto anything, basically, in other words. So I thought that was very interesting. Like, why are they been working on that? And I think he's gone. I really do believe that he's been gone. I do. What made
I'm
you
hearing
think?
that little. I'm hearing. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm hearing that that event that goes on in November
yes,
is not going to happen.
Right.
yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I'm excited though because
Yeah. It's going to
it's
change everything from federal down to the state. The
yep.
state will take over,
The
and
state of
federal will have to sit in the shadows now.
awesome. I'm fine with that. Let the games begin. I say. I mean, we've been under.
Don't say that because my lights will start flickering
I
again.
know,
No,
right?
they're really gonna do it. That's for sure. And don't forget, the states are sovereign.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. Anytime there's a federal law of anything, a state has to adopt it.
Right.
As far as the federal power, they've only consolidated that for political use and political misuse.
Right.
But the states truly are sovereign. However, just like many states that have done so in the past, they have given up their so many roads are states, so many roads are federal, so many roads are city. So they, instead of raising their taxes or slowly raising their taxes, they go to the federal government for this money. It's kind of
Right.
ridiculous. I live near Pittsburgh, and I think we're one of the most densely populated places with bridges. Bridges, I'd say probably a good 40% of all the bridges are considered critical here.
Wow.
And they've been critical for years.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know if you remember, Biden was in Pittsburgh. That very
Yeah.
day, a bridge collapsed.
Oh,
You
you're
know,
kidding.
yeah, it was that very day a bridge collapsed. It wasn't this most recent one he just did. I think it was the day before
Yeah.
yesterday. It was, I don't know exactly when. Maybe it was June.
Yeah, it was like probably like 3 or 4 months ago, something like that. Yeah, I find that very poetic. I mean, it's definitely, don't you?
Just another coincidence.
Yeah,
That's all. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what's going on. I mean, and today is the harvest moon, so that's pretty interesting. And I just think that, harvesting our energies. I think, Dennis, you've got plenty of energy going over there.
Could I ask for Carrie's insight
Yes.
on Carrie? I think Carrie has a unique perspective from Palladian standpoint
Yes.
as far as what that might be. I hope you don't mind me asking you something like this, Carrie, but how do you see, does that affect any of the star seeds, any of these political things? Do you see that meshing in with what you know about with the star seeds and all of that? Is it a tower moment? Is it are we at a particular point that it's like, almost how do I want to say it? That it is like a marker. In other words, is this something coming from that standpoint of that alien aspect of it?
Yeah.
So,
I think that she does have a good perspective. So
it's a unique perspective to me.
yeah.
I can think outside the box.
Yeah.
But it's a unique perspective as far as that.
But sure.
Well, it was kind of just more or less of, it was anything with the star seeds. Is this what has happened with the queen and everything going on,
With
is
the
this
queen
any
and
kind of
everything,
temporal
like,
marker
yeah,
from a Palladian standpoint, from a starseed standpoint, or it's just still rolling? It's not an effect. Kind of bringing that.
I'm a starseed, but I'm human, and I've been given such a huge dose of mercury in my life,
yeah,
in my teeth, that that it's cut off a lot of. I mean, I was such a psychic child. I was an incredibly psychic child, and I lost that, and now I have to just, you know, get the bits and pieces that I can
yeah,
when I'm clear enough for them to come in. And so that's why I do what I do in the morning. As I'm waking up, I always ask for messages because, you know, my mind isn't busy yet. And
My mind's always busy.
I mean, Carrie has shared some really cool aspects with me.
yeah.
I just kind of put her on the spot there. My apologies, but I mean, I'm fascinated. Honestly, I'm fascinated by it.
I would be interested to hear, like, when you were a child, like, what can you describe some of that you were getting when you were a child?
Like, it was just, I mean, it was incredibly helpful in that, well, I was very clairaudient, and that is still my main, you know, main one of the clairs, is that I'll hear spirit talk to me. And when it really came to my attention that I had that ability was when one day when my grandmother was in the midst of dying of cancer, and so my mother was really in quite a state because it was her mother, and mom was bipolar anyway, and so she just was really flipping out. And so she sent me to my room, and I was like, I didn't do anything, you know, but she sent me to my room for my own protection, is what I, you know, understand now. But at the time, you know, I'm just in my room like, I didn't do anything. And I could clearly hear spirit talking to me and saying, it's okay, you didn't do anything wrong. And, you know, your mom is just kind of breaking down right now, and you just need to be you know, on your best behavior and be as helpful to your mom as you can. And you were sent to your room just so you could stay away from your mom right now. So just play in your room and it'll be fine. And I mean, like, if I hadn't had that kind of communication, I would have been a much more confused child.
Yeah.
So that was really amazing. And then another thing happened, like when I was 9 years old, I was just playing in the backyard. And all of a sudden, like, this vision comes over me. So I'm rarely clairvoyant, but that day I was. And I saw this whole vision play out with me as an adult. And I was at a podium, and I was speaking to this big group of people, and I was very passionate about what I was saying, and it seemed that I was giving them new information they hadn't heard before, and you know, and so, but then the vision went away, and then I was like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm only 9, you know. I was like really intimidated by that, because it was clear that that was coming in the future when I was an adult. And I was like, no, I'm just 9. I just want to be a kid.
That's hilarious. Well, you know, it's funny when you're a kid, you know, how you interpret things. You know what I mean? Like, to be imminent right then, you know. Oh my gosh, that's amazing though. See, so I think if you know, some of the stuff I'm thinking if you started meditating more, like, you'd probably pick it right. It would probably come back to you because you have that ability. That's amazing.
And yet, being single and having to do everything myself, like, where's the time to meditate, you know?
I get you. I know.
And then it seems like, with all my lack of sleep, the minute I try and sit down and meditate, I'm just asleep.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, Dennis, what about your background? Tell us something that, you know, what's your journey here to the Arcana Shores mod?
What is my journey?
Yeah.
Day by day.
Oh, there go the lights.
There goes the light.
Yeah, I know.
You're about to talk.
I think they're just letting me know that they're around me. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a very dysfunctional family,
Mhm.
very dysfunctional life. I won't go into a whole lot of it. There was an incident when I was young that I'm still trying to wrap my head around of
Mhm.
what it was. But I remember laying in bed as a child, probably about 4 or 5 years old,
Mhm.
and then peeking over the covers and seeing this great big humongous bear, or what I thought was a bear, standing in front of my bed.
Oh my God.
Had to have been about 7 or 8 feet tall, I think. Well, I originally thought it was my brother playing tricks on me, but he's not that tall.
Yeah.
So I still don't know what that was. But that's the only incident that I remember as a child.
That
Wow.
was your spirit animal.
Probably.
Yeah,
But,
that's funny.
yeah, could be
Maybe
a bear.
it was like a bear. I know.
Could have been standing bear, but I don't know.
Maybe.
I know, right?
Well, it wasn't stomping horse.
No, it was not stomping horse. Thank God it was the stomping horse.
I gotta be honest here. I am dying. I have the big heads here with me, and they are quite possibly the gaseous things going known to man. That's why I lit a candle. It's like, oh my God!
Be careful with the candle.
I just want you to know, I am taking this to the team. My goodness.
They must know when you're like on it when you're recording or something. They
Did it last time. Did it last time.
Maybe it's time to change their diet.
Oh.
I know. No more. No, they don't eat beans.
So I'm sorry if I just break up laughing. You know why. I'm sorry.
Well, they might be eating beans if they're eating a grain-free dog food.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I'll be honest with you. I do feed my dog some table scraps. Nothing outrageous, you know, but the one is on kind of a specific diet because she gets ear infections.
Right.
But I look at it this way. How would you like to eat that dry shit all the time? That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
I gotta give them something, and I have been kind of incorporating some food to cook in with them, but
Right.
yeah, but see, the gas just never goes away. I can't explain it, and
It's so funny.
it's definitely
God.
so. Like I said, if you see me just break up here, I apologize because it's
That's okay.
really rough.
No
But anyway,
worries.
I'm sorry. Let's get back on subject.
That's okay. Okay.
Well,
So,
and Chrissy,
yeah.
when you get a chance, ask me about my UFO experience.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about UFOs for a second because I sent this to Jay. I don't even think. Anyway, so the other day I noticed how beautiful the sunset was. Okay, I noticed how beautiful it was, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go take a picture. Okay, so this is the picture that I took. I don't know if you can see that. So if you see, can you see that? It looks like there's an eagle. That's a cloud of some sort, but it looks just like an eagle.
Mm.
And then, okay.
This was the unique part here.
So then up here, where the blue is, okay, there's an illuminated dot there, and I looked at.
See it there? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of shaped.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's illuminated.
Tic-tac shape?
Yes.
Yes.
But
I would say yes to that.
I did not see it when I took the picture. It was only later when I looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, that looks like an eagle. That's what I was looking at. And then even the clouds in the background there on the right, that looks weird too. I'm like, wow, what's going on? So isn't that interesting? I was like, whoa. So yeah. So I don't know. The funny thing is, like, I didn't see it with my eyes. I just took a pictures because it was beautiful out there. It wasn't, it just happened to be in there. So tell me your UFO story. I'm anxious to hear this.
So when I was 13,
Mhm.
I was, just asleep at night in my bed. And then all of a sudden I woke up and sat straight up.
Yeah.
And then I was looking around the room and I was like, why did I just do that? So it was like I was sat up,
Yeah.
like it was involuntary.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, you've got my attention. What's going
What's
on?
going on?
Right?
Yeah.
So for some reason I decided to open the blinds and look up at the night sky. And while I was doing that, then I started seeing this thing that was darting around, in ways that defy gravity, and it clearly wasn't an airplane or a helicopter. And I was like,
Right.
wow, right?
Yeah.
So this is 1981, and
Wow.
and so as I'm watching the sky, all of a sudden I feel the presence of two beings in my bedroom with me.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. How old
And
were you?
and I was 13.
Oh my gosh. I'd be freaking out.
And oddly enough, I could make out that one was male and one was female.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all psychic awareness. And
Yeah.
and yeah, I did start to freak out. I was like, who are you and what do you want?
Right.
And they had themselves invisible and cloaked, I think specifically not to freak me out. But as soon as I started to go into fear, then they just sent all this love toward me.
Oh wow.
And it was such huge love. I was immediately calmed down.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, clearly you don't mean me any harm. So,
Mhm.
but then I didn't know what to do with that. And I wish that I had known that these beings speak telepathically. I wish I had known to,
Ask. Yeah.
ask questions, but I didn't know. And so
Wow.
I just went back to watching the sky because I was like, I don't know
So
what to do
so
here.
you were in your bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and
In
so
my bed.
in your bed. So where did they appear in your room? Like next to your bed, or?
I just felt them near the bedroom door, which
Oh, okay.
was only several feet away, and just watching me. And so I was like, okay. And so I went back to watching the sky, and then it wasn't long before the thing in the sky, all of a sudden, it's at the treetops, and it is a saucer with lights all around it. And I'm just like, right?
Oh my God. Wow.
And as fast as it appeared, then it shot back up in the
Mhm.
sky. And as I'm reeling from that, then I'm also realizing that the presence of the two beings is gone now.
Wow, that's interesting. Holy moly.
Yeah.
So that is incredible.
That was
Seriously.
huge.
Wow.
And
What was it?
yeah,
Was it a psychic impression of male and female, or
Yeah.
was it vibrational?
I
Could you tell the difference by chance, or you just knew regardless? But
just knew, so it was like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was just a knowing. It was, what do they call that? Clairsentience. Anyway,
Clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance. That's what
I think it's clairsentience when you feel.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I just knew for whatever reason. And then, so over the years, whenever I have like a tarot reading or a psychic reading, then I would ask about that, and I just have been told that was your Pleiadian family and they were checking up on you. And
Wow.
oh, wow,
and it was like they needed to give you this experience
Mhm.
so that when they do actually come and see you again, that you will have had that initial experience,
Yeah.
so that
Wow.
you could, it's like, so that I could,
So you wouldn't freak out.
Yeah.
and so that I knew their energy signature, so that I
Mhm.
wouldn't be tricked,
almost introduction maybe.
Yeah.
Even
Like, well,
something.
we don't want me to be tricked by any negative ETs trying to pull any,
Right.
somehow I needed to know their energy signature, and that I would know them again when I experience that again.
That's amazing. Oh my
When you
gosh.
use words like signature, that sounds like vibration to me. You know, I mean, it really is all, but I can relate with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very
That,
cool.
I mean, that having that saucer right in front of me and having the being watched, I mean, it was just really an incredible experience. And
So you felt like you were being watched. That's what.
observed. It wasn't, and it was very positive, and they were very benevolent beings. So, but yeah.
Well, that's great. That's amazing. Well, Dennis, have you had any experiences with the UFOs or anything like that?
No.
No. What are your thoughts on the star seeds and that kind, and moving forward with what's going on? What do you think their role is at this point?
I find it all quite fascinating, and I don't understand a whole lot of it. Star seeds, I keep getting the impression of not only being like an angelic, but also being a star seed. And I don't know how that works, but Sirius keeps coming to mind, as well as Pleiadian. So I find angelic to be, I don't know, how could they be caught up in a reincarnation loop? No,
A reincarnation loop. Is that what you said?
Yeah, reincarnations deal with
Okay.
Deal with karma.
Right.
That's kind of deep.
So
really.
I don't know. That confuses me.
That's
really
some serious
stuff there. I do a lot of deep thinking. Trust me.
I was going to say that this keeps you up at night for sure. This keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, now you know why I'm nocturnal.
Exactly.
That's okay. It's good to think deep thoughts. You just never know what you might.
Dude, that was a mind blower. It really was. That was like, wow.
But yeah, I mean, you think about it. Well, see, this is how I always thought it was. You supposedly you pick your parents and your family, which I don't know why I'd pick mine, but okay, whatever. We'll just go with that. But
mine were fleeting. I came from a dysfunctional family, and they divorced when I was 5, I think, and then went into orphanage from. Well, he got remarried.
Yeah.
And we all the kids went with the father. Why, I don't know, because back then it was the mother that always kept the kids, but not the son. And then from about, I think, 7 until 10, I was in an orphanage, and from 10 until 18, I was in foster care. And with one family, I was never moved around that much, other than not in the foster system. And then I went into the military, did my 20 years there, and just kind of floated around.
Wow. You've had quite an interesting, because that's way different than a lot of people have.
No.
Orphanage so you went to an orphanage. They had those. That's when you were 7, you said?
Yeah.
So what was
7
that?
to 10.
What was that like? Being in an orphanage, like you never hear of that these days. Actually, I mean, they take the kids to CPS and they put them in a foster family. But you don't ever hear of orphanages anymore.
Oh yeah, I think they're pretty much on the wayside now. They did to foster care now. But orphanage was just we had probably about 100 kids, all within one little commune thing. But we'd have to walk to school, which was about, I don't know, half a mile away to and from school, but spent the rest of the time inside the confines of the orphanage.
Wow.
Doing whatever with the nuns and stuff, and that's where I got the taste of Catholicism. We were forced into that.
Gosh.
So I know what the native children had to go through when they had to go through their residential school things.
Right.
So I got a taste of that.
That sucks. I mean, I'm just not.
It wasn't a bad experience, really. It was, I don't know, playing with kids. But it was not until the foster care that I learned life, pretty much from my foster father. Now I come back and at 63 years of age, I find out that my father was not my father.
Wow.
Oh, you're kidding!
They
Oh my
both
gosh,
were
what was-
fooling around when we were
Ah.
young. Both
So
of
you
them.
don't-
And I found out that by doing a DNA test to try and find out how much Native American blood I had in me,
Yeah.
because I was doing going through the root, through ancestry and going through my roots on my mother's side, and she has Native American blood on her side, but it's pretty much diluted by the time it got to me.
Right.
So I got a very, very small amount, but that was Cherokee and Catawba and Shawnee. But I was doing that, and I was helping another person that whose wife was a friend of mine on Facebook, and she was telling me that her husband looked a lot like me. So I was helping her try and find it.
Oh, he froze. You still with us, Dennis?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering that might be where he gets so much spirituality, you know. From, yeah, he's gonna have to come back.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm kind of fascinated by the
I know.
whole native
too.
people and the alien connections. I think that's really kind of fascinating.
There's really
myself.
There is a huge, I think, connection with that because, like I said, out here, there's these two rocks and they're on the Quinault. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Tohola Indian Reservation, which is 5 miles from me. These two rocks are they're one on side of the other of the ocean there, and that's where I saw the original UFO that I saw, which was about 2.5 years ago. It was 2:30 in the morning, couldn't sleep, you know, and then I went out there on the deck and I see this big spotlight just hanging in between. There's no weather, no nothing. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm watching it. I'm like, let me go get my phone. So I got my phone and I took a few pictures, whatever. And I'm telling you, later, like 2-3 days later, I looked at the pictures, and if you hold that 5-second video on the iPhone, you can see like there was something above it, a structure and a structure below it, and it
I'll
looked
have to look back at that. Yeah.
And it looked
I saw that, but I have to look back at. I didn't.
Oh, it was
describing. I got to take a look at that.
So weird. Anyway, I'm just like, whoa. And this whole thing is just so. Anyway, so yeah, that was about 2.5 years ago when I saw that out here.
Oh, okay. I thought it was this recent
2.5
picture.
No, that wasn't this. No, this was like 2.5 years ago. And my phone, of course, fell in water, so I didn't back anything up, which I'm so mad about. But anyway.
KRISTEN, do you want to follow up on that? I know we kind of went way off of your.
I know. I was going to go.
But that's cool. I like BSing with everybody. It's awesome.
I
didn't know if you wanted to cover anything on your little bit of list before our time is, and unfortunately, Dennis. Hopefully, he can get back in here.
I'm going to say we'll end it in about 5-7 minutes, something like that. If Dennis comes back, I just want to ask him about his spiritualism.
Yeah.
If he pops it back in. But no, I wanted to talk about Trump's speech.
Okay.
Real quick. because I went back and I, of course, rewatched it, and I paid attention to the thunder thing because that was crazy. I was like, "There's thunder. What is this?" So the thunder starts rolling at 9:27 p.m. Right after he says this, he goes, "We are a nation in decline." Thunder. Then it was, "We are a nation failing." Thunder. And then he goes on, okay, and then at 9:28, he says, as he says, surrendering all over the world. It was thunder right after that. And then at 9:30, he starts talking about the voting irregularities, the fraud, the music that came underlying lasted until the end of his speech at 9:34. I just found that fascinating. So definitely there was a message within, there was comms throughout it. I mean, obviously Jason did his gematria, which is so interesting to me. But what were your thoughts when you guys saw, watched the speech, and did you guys catch all of that? Because that was just crazy when the thunder showed up. I just found that fascinating. I mean, it was definitely, and people were online that when I was watching in the chat, they were saying that no, there's nothing on the radar, so there was no storm. So Carrie, what are your thoughts on that, on the speech itself, and then if you just want to, whatever you want to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, like initially with his speech, it started to sound like the same old speech, that he's given so many times, and I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed. Come on,
right?
Throw us a bone. But then, things like that started to happen, and it was like, okay, he is giving us a lot more hints than normal. And
totally. It was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. And people were saying in the chat box, I noticed, they were saying, oh, it's the same old thing. I don't think so. He was just very strong. He went after so much, I mean, of course, the news, the fake news, and he was bringing up Pelosi and, all of them. And I just think I think it's imminent, I just don't think that he would be bringing all these comms.
Right. Well, and even the fact that it was really him.
Yeah.
Because I thought it might be his double because the DS is so panicked right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the White Hats must have enough under control that, they can start rolling things out.
Yeah, I think so.
And could guarantee his safety.
It's so scary. I always pray for him because I always get worried, but they've got him under control, I think. And what do you think, Jay? What were your thoughts about all of this?
I'll be honest, I did not see the speech, but I went back and watched the part with the thunder. I mean, that was definitely interesting. It sounded, it almost seemed like it was pumped in, but intuitively it just seemed it was real to me. With that said, I only listened to that part. I mean, I'm waiting for whatever happens. The rest is static to me, but that thunder was different. The timing was so precise. You know what I mean? It really was. And like I said, I listened to it a few times, and I gotta say, I don't think it was a pumped in noise.
You think it was? Because I thought, it could be God thing,
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed like it was, you were hearing it. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we're pumping it through the speakers. It definitely, because his pitch never changed, but yet to have, you would have to have I mean, when they set up for speeches, they set up for audio. Okay, they're not setting up for like all these special effects, like the old quadraphonic. They had like 5 different types of speakers at different times. That's what made it so interesting to me. That did perk my ears for sure. But I can't give any information on the speech, but that was like I said, that felt quite real. It did not feel staged, if you will. The timing was so precise.
The timing was amazing. I couldn't
The timing
believe
was so precise. I don't care who you are, you would miss a beat.
it.
If you hadn't done that 1,000 times, you would miss a beat. That's just my
I wonder.
on it.
I want to go back and watch it again because I'm wondering if Mr. T was
aware. Yeah, I don't.
aware or amazed by that, or if he just doesn't miss a beat and continues to speak.
He's just so. I think too. You know, most of the time he talks off the cuff too. I mean, I do know he has his speeches obviously on the prompter, but he goes off the cuff and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was just so interesting. We are in a nation in decline, thunder. We are in a nation failing, thunder. I was like, oh my God. I mean, it just, and then the surrendering all over the world, another thunder. I mean, to me, it seemed divine inner type thing.
I mean, I think you'll have all the critics say, oh, it was pumped, it was this and that. I honestly don't think so. Not at all. I don't feel that whatsoever. I mean, you know, they just want him gone. I mean, we're 2 years into this and they're still talking about him. Why? Because they're scared. That's the bottom line. You know, that's the bottom line. Their game, like I think people have mentioned, there's two choices, Republican, Democrat. It's the same coin. It's the same team. You know, just I can't buy anything. It doesn't even resonate anymore. Unfortunately, that's
right.
Yeah, I can't even watch it anymore. Nothing to do with it.
Well, I find it interesting. There's a lot of things I think positive going on in the world, and so in closing, what are some of the things that you would like to tell people, how, you know, moving forward, how we can stay grounded, or, you know, what are your thoughts? Do you want to go first, Jay or Carrie? I don't know.
Carrie, would you like to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think that's why they have emphasized things like, you know, having extra food and water and having some cash at home. I mean, it's all of those things are going to help you feel safer. And, you know, and then it's just a matter of what is your connection to spirit, because, you know, because we do need to stay calm and that's one of the things that I heard, that, you know, like I said, I do that in the morning where I ask for messages from spirit. And a few mornings ago I heard, keep calm and carry on.
I love it.
You know, and you know, and then be the love. And so I mean, the messages are clearly, you know, to hold the space and hold that calmness. And that's who we really are. So it's just a matter of being in touch with your true being.
I agree. You know,
I take that as standing in your energy. How you mentioned that, just standing in your energy. That's how I took that.
And just, you know, what do you think, Jay?
I think she's right. I'm surprised she actually touched on the almost preparedness aspect of it. That was one of the same things I was going to talk about. So, you know, the kind of the like lines, but that whole spirituality, I agree with. I think we have to, well, physically, from the physical side, you be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. The spiritual side is really no different. However, I don't think the spiritual side is well, let's just do it for now. I think that's where we're going, and it's going to keep climbing. It's going to keep moving. Again, it just seems that we're being pulled that way, and I think most of us been in this kind of community for a while. It's right here. It's in us. And so there's a reason for that. We're not all wrong. We're not all wrong. I think it's like we had all talked about awakenings.
Yeah.
It is. It's the change. It's where we're going. I mean, I think at some point here, hopefully soon, humanity is going to realize that we are one.
Yeah.
No one can manipulate it, and that's just it. And once we get to the point of all of this garbage going to the wayside, I agree with Carrie that preparing, just keep going. I don't listen to the news, so I'll probably be one of the last persons to find out, but my day won't change. The Queen's date of death or announcement of this is the day she died.
Well, it was
I did feel great. Don't get me wrong. I had this energy, but
whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I watch X-22 report mainly, but it's only like when something big happens. So like I watched it this morning, but I didn't even realize that the Queen died until probably like 1 p.m. yesterday. Just because and I just think the main thing is that we just have to keep positive and in the moment, because that's the key. Live in the moment and not worry about. And I will tell you, while we've been talking, the crown of my head has been like tingling the whole time. So I feel like we're all connected for sure. I mean, all the moderators, we all kind of found each other.
Yeah, it is, and just Carrie has been around well before I was a moderator. She was always a moderator when I'd see her, and she always was just nice and genuine and just a good person.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are drawn to that, and and then okay, here's a blue wrench in the chat, and then you end up talking with them, you end up being friends with them. It's like it's really kind of cool, but it's just amazing that type of connection. I mean, let's face it, because one of us had to go like this, hey, can we talk to each other? And someone had to go, otherwise, it's the internet, stranger danger, but we didn't, we instinctively knew it was okay. That to me is an amazing aspect.
It's amazing to be able to do that, like I've known you guys forever. And,
and I mean, we did roll the dice for sure. But that part of that fascinates me. That especially with today.
Yeah, for sure.
And we all have so much inner wisdom that I don't know if we fully realize.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right.
My mother's been leaning on me since I was a small child, and it was because she felt this strength and this wisdom in me that I've always felt also. And so I've like known that I was an old soul always.
I just wish Dennis could have finished up with us
wish
today.
he could have too.
Yeah.
There was something I was gonna say about that. I mean, like, if you just really I know what it was. If you just really feel into yourself, you will feel that I can get through anything because I am connected to source. And speaking of which, there was this day as a teenager where I was just looking in the mirror and I was probably picking a zit or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking in the mirror and messing around, and the next thing I know, I like looked deeply into my own eyes.
Yeah.
And it was like I experienced God in my own eyes.
Wow.
I like totally can't. I mean,
that's epic.
I can't explain it.
Oh my God.
But I swear I saw God looking back at me through my own eyes in the mirror, and I was like,
that is so cool.
That's pretty wild. God. That's pretty wild.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, you guys. I just need to do a quick shout out, because if you see the candle behind me this way, and my little sage there, and I've got my crystals too. I think There you go. Harley Ray sent them to me, so I want to do a
cool.
shout out to Harley Ray. And I will put a link to her little place.
Can I mention one thing also?
Yeah.
That was kind of from last night's show, and I saw it in Gypsy Mama's video she did this morning. We had talked about compassion last night.
Yeah.
And she had mentioned something about people's realities, well, not people's realities, but realities are closing or crashing.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times, we're in this kind of community. We think everyone understands what we're saying, but like, oh, hey, we're talking about, but I mean, it almost come down to like, I said one thing, she said something similar. And yet I still think there's more to expand on in there. Kind of like what Carrie was just saying about you looked into there's so much, that's what brought it up. There's so much more that we can see. Yeah. But one of the things that she had said was, about the compassion in people's realities, and every individual's reality is their individual reality. I mean, think about that. It's their perception. I don't mean it's, Gypsy Mama's world, Jay Rocco's world. It's her perception, and that was, she picked up on that, and that was pretty incredible. It was kind of what I was saying, but she pointed it out, and I thought it needed just that little bit further to go, because as people are getting this and waking up, I mean, it's going to be in the details. It is. So that was, I wanted to give her a shout out on that. That was like, pick that up, and I was like, oh yeah, we really gotta, it's not just this, we gotta look at all the kind of details coming up, and it's going to help that transition, but when Carrie said that about looking in the mirror, I was like, oh my God, that's right. The whole, we have to see what like, almost, it was like what we can't see, but we have to be very perceptive of it.
Right. And it's true, because everybody lives in their own reality. You create your own reality. I mean, you create your life. What you accept and what you don't. Speaking of Gypsy Mama, she's going to be on my show. She's going to be on, we're going to record tomorrow, so it probably won't be up till Monday or Tuesday. But anyway, so look for that. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to her, because she's so wise. She's got a lot of information, So, but thank you, and
thanks, Carrie. Good seeing you, Chrissy. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it.
I guess we'll end it there, and here we go. Let's see, I'm out of here. Here we go.
Thank you all.